Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the James Bond Retrospective. I'm Mark Bridge, and I'm here with Zach Worsner.
That's me.
And today we are going to discuss the third entry in the Pierce Brosnan Bond series, and that's The World Is Not Enough, which holds a very special place in my heart because I mentioned it a few times before. This was the first Bond film I saw in the theaters, and what a lovely experience that was. It was a theater I believe was at 44th, I think, or 43rd, one of them. It was one of those theaters that was just one house, one movie house. It didn't have multiple um, multiplexes. It was just a singular theater, but it was huge. It's since closed down now, which sucks, but whatever. I guess the business model of just having one theater wasn't good enough for the time period. But yeah, it was an awesome movie. The sound quality, the picture quality, so it holds a very special place in my heart. So with that said, it was very nerve wracking watching it again because I would hate to be disappointed by the fact, like if it doesn't hold up, or I probably just was looking through nostalgia glasses and remembering a fun experience, and then rewatching it would be like, oh my god, this movie sucks. And I am proud to say, well, with the exception of one element in it, I still love the fuck out of this movie. What do you think, Zach? World is Not Enough, third movie.
I think I pair it with Tomorrow Never Dies as being two very underrated movies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I will say I like it a little bit less than I remembered.
Right,
There's like some little things that bother me, and some things that I feel like just don't have a level of polish
right.
that they had in previous movies. But Pierce is fantastic in the role. I like seeing Zukovsky back. I like pretty much the whole cast.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I never really liked Renard that much as a villain, but I will
Right.
say that he does make the most out of the few kind of dialogue scenes that he gets. He has a very interesting dynamic with Sophie Marceau.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's kind of the backbone of the movie. She's really the backbone of the movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
Um, and I like the idea of uh, MI6 getting attacked, so they go to like this secondary headquarters.
Yeah. Which
Just like a
it's
lot of cool things happen.
is I think again I'm trying to I can't remember every Bond movie I've seen up to this point, but um, this would probably be the first time MI6 was attacked in one of the movies, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. I think it happens again in Skyfall, but we'll get to that. But yeah, so it was an amazing movie. Released in 1999, and that was a crazy year for films, especially like sort of cinema changing films. The Matrix came out that year. Um, this came out in November, so this came out after The Matrix, but uh, it was directed by Michael Apt. Um, I've seen maybe two other films he's made. I saw Coal Miner's Daughter, and I saw Chronicles of Narnia: The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Not really a good movie, but he's directed a
I've
lot
never
of
seen that
films.
one, but I love Coal Miner's Daughter.
I love that one. Yeah,
I mean, Coal Miner's Daughter is great. Gorillas in the Mist, and Nell. Those are the ones that I've seen.
I may have seen Thunderheart, um, but again, these are pretty old movies, so I wouldn't remember them.
Oh, that's about. Oh, I should watch that.
Yeah, um, it's
About
funny.
about Wounded Knee.
Yeah, yeah. Funny. He has
That
a film.
whole
He has a
wound.
he has a film called Agatha. It's interesting. But yeah, Michael Apt. I guess could call him a journeyman director as well. Like as most of these Bond films have been directed by journeyman filmmaker. Um, Screenplay, I think Robert Wade is the only guy I recognize. You have Neil Purvis, Robert Wade, and Bruce Fierstein, but I think I recognize Robert Wade. Well, he came back for No Time to Die, but I think he did a Mission Impossible, if I'm not
Well, yeah,
mistaken.
Neil Purvis and Robert Wade, the two of them basically have been the Bond writers since then.
Right, right. Yeah, because I know
They've
his
written all of them.
name is like very familiar to me. Um, but yeah, so the third Bond film for Pierce, and it's almost as if like you probably could go back to GoldenEye and then go to this movie and it feels almost different, or maybe it's just me. Like he's really comfortable in this movie, and he plays Bond a lot more emotional in this film. You know, like he still has his womanizing tendencies, but it feels almost as if like his guard is down in terms of meeting.
Yeah,
Uh,
Electra definitely strips him like almost immediately.
yeah,
It's actually a little tiny bit corny the very first moment. I kind of wish that it had been saved until they actually met, but
right.
it's the classic cinematic shorthand of him seeing her on the computer screen and then touching the computer screen.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, I've seen stuff on TV and I've never reached out and literally touched my TV. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like that's always a little corny to me, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
uh but the idea comes across, and then when they do, initially meet,
Mm-hmm.
she challenges him. She clearly has her guard up, and Bond, his type is all women, but
Mm-hmm.
his real type is like wounded birds,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
someone with like major internal damage,
Mm-hmm.
like Tracy did, like Vesper did, although not in this continuity,
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it could be the fact too where I don't know if it's something to do with the trauma of him himself losing his wife, like seeing a kind of
oh yeah,
kindred
one
spirit,
hundred
you know.
percent,
Yeah.
100%. She reminds him of Tracy. I mean, she even asks him early on, like in that good scene, which is I'll say not shot very well. And it's kind of a criticism I do have of this movie, is that it's shot very plainly.
Mm-hmm.
And the cinematography is very flat, and the like I'm not a big color grading guy, but I think this movie would have benefited from a little. It feels very gray, very monotone to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
or monochromatic, I should say.
Yeah, and that's
But
a funny thing.
in
I
that,
remember. I do remember that aspect of it. Just the way how it looked too. But I don't know. I guess I didn't mind it. It became like a signature that stands out from the rest of the Bond
yeah,
films. Yeah.
yeah, and it is kind of what I suppose was coming in. Um, a lot of gritty looking
Yeah.
grayscale kind of movies. But in that scene, to go back to it, she asks Bond, "Have you ever lost anyone that you loved? Or have you ever lost a loved one?" And
Mm-hmm.
he kind of gives her a brief stare down, contemplating it. Uh, and I think we're supposed to. That's supposed to be the moment where we draw the connection between her and Tracy, and then
Yeah.
it's hammered home when they go skiing together.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, or I guess 3 times out of five, if we want to be technical, um, anytime a Bond movie goes skiing, it's an allusion to OHMSS. And of course, the movie's title, "The World Is Not Enough," comes from that movie,
Yeah.
where he learns his, as he calls it, his family motto, his coat of arms.
The world is not enough. I just love that freaking title, man.
Yeah, it's
It's
a good
like,
title.
yeah, one of the most badass titles. The world is not enough. So jumping on to other cast members, we're sticking with the MI6 staff. Judy Dench is back again. She has a
Yeah, she
lot
has a
more to
little more to
do.
do in this one.
Yeah, a lot more to do. It's like it's moving up towards where she finally has her. I guess we'll get to it, but Skyfall is where she really has the most to do. But in this movie, it's like a taste of M being on the forefront. Um,
Yeah, it's cool too because Tomorrow Never Dies very much just makes her the exposition
mm-hmm.
character. You know, kind of like the Bernard Lee old timey. You know, here's the mission. Just do your thing. I'll run interference with you. You know, for you with these old generals
Yeah,
with whom I used to star in a sitcom. Um, and in this, they kind of go back to her personification, or excuse me, her characterization as the quote evil queen of numbers,
yeah,
as Tanner called her, and we see how that kind of backfires when because she's the one who convinces Robert King not to pay the ransom for Electra's kidnapping,
yeah,
and potentially that's part of why she winds up becoming a villain in the first place, depending on how you feel about Electra's character, which we'll get to,
yeah.
and her motivations. But I do like that we get to see, you know, the we get to see something blow back on
Mm-hmm.
M in a way that you know Bond has to clean up her mess, and they develop an understanding
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't really have in Goldeneye because she just disappears after her one scene, and which is kind of just self-evident in Tomorrow Never Dies. Um, it's almost like you could swap the two movies in the timeline, and it might even work better.
Yeah, yeah. Then we have Samantha Bond back as
Dildo joke.
Miss Miss Moneypenny. Uh,
Didn't get that joke when I was a kid.
really,
I know just where to put that.
yeah, yeah. um, yeah, she I mean, in a sense that she gets more scenes, but not like she has more to do. It's just more like she's in this inner circle a lot more, but there's no like backstory or more getting delve into a character. But it does seem like maybe if they had a fifth Bond movie or something like that, they would have do some consummation. But like just the first scene that Bond and her share in this film is like you could cut that sexual tension with a knife. You know what I mean? It's like they were like really
Yeah,
pushing that.
yeah, very, very well done. And at the same time, you know, I don't necessarily want more than that. Like
Yeah,
we'll get to it in the Craig movies, but you
yeah,
know, he's James Bond. He doesn't have a team. This isn't Mission Impossible,
yeah,
but we'll get to that. You know,
yeah, yeah. And then what's his name? Desmond Llewellyn. Now this is his final
this is his
appearance
final one. Yep,
as Q, and the way he
it's so
exited that
sad.
scene. Didn't he like die
Yeah, yeah,
shortly
that's
after?
actually yeah. So in real life, you know, the plan was for the character to retire, but
Mm-hmm.
still be around.
Yeah,
Like he was, they were still gonna do him and John Cleese
yeah,
in the
yeah,
next one.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but then he died in, of all things, a car crash. Should have taken his license away because he was friggin' 80 plus years old. But you know, whatever. You know, for better or worse, I think the way it's got to be is you need to actually survive the incident
mm-hmm.
that leads to you losing your license. And
Yeah,
if you don't, then it just sucks, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But but that's a different discussion for a different podcast
yeah.
for the 80 plus audience.
Yeah.
Um but so we get John Cleese as R, and they have a cute little dynamic which is fun
Mm-hmm.
and I like it. But there's the great scene where Pierce says to him, you're not thinking of retiring anytime soon,
Hmm.
are you? And it's like, oh, that gets you right in the heart, doesn't it?
Yep. And then
And Q, he has the perfect segue to leaving. I always tried to teach you two things: one, never let them see you bleed, and the second, always have an
have
escape plan. The
yeah.
great the pool table breaks open and he slides away
It was like
into
the
history.
final shot of Desmond
Mm-hmm.
as Q. That was a poetic scene. I loved it.
It's cute.
Um, then we get to our actual Bond girls with honorable mention of Maria Grazia, the cigar girl in the beginning. Um, that
Yeah, she's
slit,
nice.
yeah, that slit on her on her skirt was super high. I was like, what the fuck? You can see
Oh
like
yeah,
the
that's how they do it in Spain.
yeah, you can see the lacy part of her stockings already, like, and that goes all the way up. And I was like, ooh, who is this beautiful
Well, that's like
brown?
a classic Batman style thing. I think it's in Batman Year One when he goes undercover. He
Right.
doesn't really disguise his identity that much, but he gives himself a scar so that when people think about him, they only think of the scar.
Yeah.
So for her, she can kind of conceal her identity just by showing a little leg.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to be looking at her face.
And she actually not only does she have a very striking appearance, but she gives Bond a run for his money in the cold open of this movie with a super cool high speed boat chase where she's like the assassin of the whole sequence, and
Yeah.
Bond has to try to
Super cool
find her.
scene. Maybe a little too long, but super cool still.
You know what? That's the thing. Is like again, it goes back to sitting down in the theaters. This is my first, um, probably even one of my first movies since moving into America to watch. This
Aw.
is like the year I fully moved. I've been visiting, you know, subsequent years or prior years, and it isn't the first movie I saw in cinemas. But I think it's probably the first one since moving. And I saw it by myself. I went in, it was like, is me deciding, fuck going to movies with people. If I want to see a movie, I'll go see the shit myself.
Oh
And
yeah.
and then I went to go see it. Sat down in the movie theater. Uh, Opens up in this fucking cool boat chase sequence with the music. We'll talk a little bit about the music later, but like it's just everything about that. It just filled my soul with adrenaline, and it was like, holy
Oh yeah.
shit.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
I'd say it only feels like a little much. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it would feel like it would be too much after because the original plan was to have the song, the opening title sequence after the stunt in the building in the bank at the
Right.
beginning.
Right. Right.
But then they decided that that wasn't enough
Yeah, it wasn't
of a
exciting enough.
of a cold open. It wasn't exciting enough, so they moved it to after the boat chase.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Which was a smart
and
decision.
yeah, I think it works that way because we get a little more leeway with having a big extended action scene
Yeah.
if it's still like the we don't really need context yet,
Right.
the opening of the movie.
Yeah. But sadly, he wasn't able to, perform his usual duties with a pretty girl that appears on screen with him. Um, she decided to go out like a G because she was, well, not like a G because she was scared of the bad guy. She was like, no, and she, offs herself to prevent being captured for fear of our unknown villain at the time. Um, but just to kind
But
of set the
he
stage.
does wind up with the doctor instead.
Yep, that was his consolation prize. He was like, M was like, "Now your shoulder's fucked. You're out of commission until you get medically cleared." And it's like, "Up, that's my cue. Where's that beautiful doctor, bring her over here. And
Dr. Molly Warmflash.
wait, wow, Jesus Christ, the names.
Hey, that's how they do it.
Yep. And she was eager to, release him. You did put that thing
Hey,
on her.
he's 007. He's hot. Everyone wants to bang
and
him. That's just the rule.
and then I was trying to figure out if Miss Moneypenny was pissed off at her or was just judging her, or maybe a bit of both. When they had like that small exchange. Um,
It's it's business as usual for Moneypenny. You know, she can't help but be jealous.
yeah,
You know, there's a it's you know she gets to be the Madonna in the Madonna horror complex, but
yeah,
you know that whole thing. So she gets to be judgmental of others, but is also kind of lonely
wishing,
at the top.
wishing she would be in the position that these
Yeah.
women get to enjoy. And I think
Here's a fun thing. Oh, sorry.
no, I was just saying, maybe another reason too why Bond is hesitant to move that direction with Miss Moneypenny is that he actually cares for her, not want to, and doesn't want to treat her like the rest. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
you could read into their relationship any number of ways.
yeah,
You know, genuine attraction. He could just not be attracted to her, which would be kind of funny.
yeah, that'd be kind of
But
fucked up too.
Moneypenny's always pretty.
Yeah,
Um, and or just not wanting to risk M's wrath.
yeah, yeah. True, true.
Um, so you know the Tanner has always been a Bond mainstay.
Hmm.
I think he goes back in the movies to Man with the Golden Gun, but in Tomorrow Never Dies, the actor Michael Kitchen was unavailable, so they introduced Robinson instead, Colin Salmon.
Hmm.
And I think it's hilarious that his last name is Salmon. Um, and but what's funny is that for this one, they were just like, well, we like both of them, so let's just
Bring
throw
them
them
both.
both in there.
Yeah.
And I remember Pierce Brosnan saying that he had wished that Colin would become Bond, would be the next Bond actor,
Ah.
which would have been cool because he's
Oh
got the
yeah,
look
yeah,
for it.
yeah, yeah. And I've seen him in a lot of stuff, including Arrow. He was in Arrow season one, a couple of seasons in Arrow.
Yeah,
And he was in
Arrow,
Resident
Punisher.
Evil.
Oh
Res-
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, he got
yeah, yeah. It's funny
one of the
because he's
worst
in
deaths.
Resident Evil and Predator or Alien vs Predator. Both of those movies have him getting cubed.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Um, but yeah, cool. He would have been a great Bond. But I guess we weren't as progressive. Um, well, we kind of turned the clock back, but you know,
Yeah, we're still not getting a Black Bond. Sorry.
yeah, probably not. Maybe
One day.
maybe after this new saga, the whatever whoever gets cast, once their 3 or 5 film stint as Bond is up, probably we'll get a black Bond. It would be probably time, but it should be British though. It shouldn't be an American.
I want an Eskimo Bond.
Right. So then we have our other Bond girl, Sophie Marceau. Now I had a crush on her for a
Yeah,
while, man.
yeah, she's pretty.
As Electra King, the oil heiress. Her dad gets popped in the beginning of the movie. It was her dad, right? Not a stepdad.
No, her dad,
Okay, yeah,
dad,
yeah.
dad, dead, dad.
I was only curious because it's like her disdain for him made it feel almost like
Yeah,
a
I think
stepfather.
the idea is that he either married into or one way
Like,
or the other. Either he married into the oil empire that her mother had,
yeah,
or he kind of, maybe it was her dowry kind of thing,
yeah,
but the way she insists that it was her mother's and her grandfather's.
yeah. I think it's
So
her
it's
maternal side of
yeah,
side that owned
yeah, it's
the company. And he he just acted as if, oh, he's going to be the heir going forward without any sort
But
of.
because the company has his name on it, so he probably is the one who turned it into something, or at
Yeah,
least made it international.
true, 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 true.
And she's a woman of the people.
Yeah. So again, gorgeous. I remember her from Braveheart. It was probably the first
But yeah,
film I saw her in. She's been in others, but yeah, she's always super gorgeous. And yeah, ever since I saw her, I was just like, oh my god, I'm crushing on her so hard. Um, Now, there's always a tradition whenever there's like two main Bond girls. One either dies uh, halfway through the film to make room for the other, or the first one becomes or is introduced as a bad guy immediately.
right. There is the formula,
Yeah,
and this movie benefits and suffers from trying to adhere to that formula,
yeah,
from breaking that formula, and from audience expectations of the formula.
yeah, yeah.
If you go in with the formula in mind, you might have a bad time.
Mhm.
But if you go in just wanting to see what happens, I think you're going to have a much better time.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and for a while, and that's the thing. It's like the movie introduces Electra King, and for the majority of the movie, it's just her and Bond. So you're not actually expecting a second Bond girl. Only I guess if you saw the trailers and the press um, packages, then you would realize, oh yeah, there's supposed to be another Bond girl making an appearance. But for the most part, if you went in cold, which is semi kind of how I did it, like I did see the trailer, but back then you saw trailers uh, when it comes on television, not necessarily online. I don't think I even had internet back then. So you couldn't really decipher and cut and pause and all that stuff. So you just basically whenever you saw it, it was whenever you saw it, which wasn't often enough in terms of getting to know exactly what scenes you're expecting to see. So yeah, for me, it was like not expecting another Bond girl. So for a long time, it was just um, Electra and Bond, and then they had this, you know, no pun intended, bond with each other that really made you feel like, oh, she will be the sort of damsel in distress for Bond to carry throughout the entire movie. And then, as soon as Bond goes on midpoint of the movie and he meets our second Bond girl, Denise Richards, Christmas Jones, which I guess I don't know if they were trying to. Well, she's a nuclear physicist, but I don't know if they were trying to kind of go with the whole almost opposite of Indiana Jones, but Christmas Jones. And
Well, her name is an allusion to Indiana Jones, and she's dressed like Tomb Raider. So,
yeah, and this was after Tomb Raider.
yeah,
So when I mentioned there's a couple of things that one particular thing that probably didn't hold up as well is her character. Which the funny thing is, I didn't mind, her character seeing the film for the first time, and all I knew after that movie came out in terms of when uh, you were able to get discourse about the film online, it was that you know she was terrible in the movie, and I was like, I couldn't remember her being terrible. Like, I wasn't really paying attention that deep into performances at the time I saw that movie to really make any kind of judgment. Um, but I guess when you kind of rewatch it now with a more mature eyes, a more uh, film educated eyes, you kind of go, well, yeah, she probably was the standout in terms of not being like the other in this otherwise prestige cast of films.
So you didn't like her.
So here's the thing. I liked her, right? I didn't mind her. She's, as a matter of fact, her performance isn't like shitty compared to like other performances in other films. Like my thing is, I'm only wondering, right? Because you know when you have actors, British actors, or even actors, or even doing accents, even if they're not, it's not their accent, but just all these kind of caliber performances, and all of a sudden you hear this American chick that sounds like she's from California. It just feels, it automatically stands out, and you can't really tell if it's a terrible performance or it's just that she's like the only American in an otherwise international cast, and it just kind of stands out, sticks out like a sore thumb. So
So did you like her or not?
so I liked her. I liked her. I would just say it's just there's certain aspects of her character, and even her performances that are weaker than the rest of the film. So it just stands out more. Like just the idea
Yeah.
that she takes her first suit and she's like in a Tomb Raider get up in this very harsh environment. It just feels almost very what do you call that word? I'm blanking. Not tropey, but
Incongruous.
or no, like kind of catering to like fanboys catering to. I'll probably
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
it.
it's a little goofy.
Yeah,
I personally don't mind it, and I like her. I just like Denise Richards in general.
yeah, yeah. Me too.
Um,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't watch Real Housewives. I know she's on that now, but
and again, she's
I
not a
would
terrible
say,
actress because I've seen her in other movies that she's done very well in. But I guess you know this is one of her earlier roles, if not the first role that she was
oh
in.
no, she goes back to before that.
Okay.
Yeah, she was in a movie called Tammy and the T Rex, which
Uh,
is genuinely one of the greatest movies of all time,
oh, okay. Got you. Got you.
but also
Oh, Wild
like
Things
so
was
bad
before
it's good.
this. Yeah, Things was before this movie, and that was the movie that goes woohoo. Hello.
Uh,
Oh yeah, it's Starship Troopers. I'm an idiot. My bad.
yeah, Starship Troopers.
Ignore me. Ignore
But
me.
Tammy and the T Rex is her and Paul Walker, and Paul Walker gets killed and has his brain put into the body of a mechanical T Rex by a doctor who's played by Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
And if you're in, you're in, and if you're not in, you're not gonna be in.
Yeah.
But it's so good. But anyway,
Yes.
I think she's totally just fine. I
Yeah. Yeah.
think you know when I said like the movie suffers from its adherence to and deviations from the Bond formula, quote unquote. You know, um, she is treated in the film as a very secondary Bond girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, like as the one that he's with in the first act of a movie, and then you know just kind of falls off when the movie actually kicks in.
Mhm.
Um, but because Elektra winds up being the villain of the piece, she, you know, Denise Richards, who doesn't even get introduced until almost an hour into this 2 hour movie,
Yeah.
winds up having to be the one that he ends up with in the end. Not that I want her to get killed, but I think that she could have been just written out and have Bond end the movie alone. Could have been a little bit more profound of an ending, but because of the quote unquote formula,
Right.
they had to end up together at the end. And it's something that, for better or worse, and I would say oftentimes for the better, but maybe sometimes for the worse,
Mhm.
the Craig movies not adhering to the formula worked to their advantage. I
Yeah.
think we could have gotten a little more characterization for Bond if he doesn't end the movie kind of saddled with
Right.
Christmas Jones. I think she's very good in that middle part of the movie, but I don't think she was necessary in the finale on the submarine to the point where when he goes to rescue her, he even says, "You thought I'd forgotten you, eh?"
Yeah.
And the audience is just like, "Yeah, we kind
Yeah.
of did."
Yep.
Like not in a bad way, and not, and she's totally fine, and she's great, and I like her in that scene. I like her, in her introduction, and I like her in the caviar factory scene. But I think after that, they could have kind of dropped her.
Yeah, yeah. But again, like you said, they kind of had to. Well, they are trying to adhere to the formula. You have to
Yeah,
have a
but
Bond girl.
overall, I'm
You had,
definitely I am a fan.
yeah, you had to have. I don't think you've, uh, or I can't remember. Maybe you could tell me. There's if there's a movie, um, up until this point that had a final scene without a Bond girl at least involved in and around that sequence. So I guess formula, right?
Yeah, no, off the top of my head, the only one that doesn't end with him and a girl kissing is on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah, and we know why.
Right.
All right, so you know, uh, so going back to her character, I don't mind her character, and I could see why people would say she's the weakest part in the film, but as far as uh, her kind of bringing the film down, I enjoyed it. I don't mind her character, and of course, she's a goddamn gorgeous woman. So who the fuck is complaining, right? Uh,
Exactly.
so yeah, and right around the time when she shows up, which is right around the time you would either kill the first Bond girl, or I guess reveal that the Bond girl was a villain all this time and could possibly be the main villain, which I think they probably in a more modern movie it would have turned out that way. She would have been the sort of the last to die, but I guess we still had to make as we pivot now to the main villain, Robert Carlyle, Victor Renard Zuckus, a former KGP agent who kidnapped Elektra. And
Or
I
did he?
guess, and that's the thing. They don't make it clear. Like for the most part, you're thinking, oh, it's a Stockholm syndrome situation. He kidnapped her, held her for ransom because the King Empire. Um, M refuses. Well, M tells patriarchal king to not pay the ransom. Did they even say why in the movie? Maybe I missed it. Why she advised him not to? I guess don't succumb to
Just
terrorism.
because they figured, I think she figured that he would have killed her anyway.
Yeah. So
Because they do point out that he's an anarchist.
yeah. So I guess because of that refusal, the film tries to say, well, that's when she turns, her heart turns cold, and she kind of goes, I guess, gets her, um, I don't know, attraction, or falls in love with her captor. But as the film goes on, and you get her true motive, which is to regain control or gain control of the King Empire, the oil empire, you go, well, maybe she orchestrated the whole thing, but it's never made clear what.
Yeah, they give enough wiggle room to however you want to
Yeah,
look at it. I like to see it as her being behind everything and Renard being her, um, you know, her puppet the whole time.
yeah, because
Uh, yeah, and there's a great scene, where after they think Bond has been killed, and they have their Bond, she's in the bed and she's naked, and we get to see a whole lot of Sophie.
hell yeah.
Um,
If you pause it real
and
quick, you could see some extra things that you probably wouldn't
I've
see.
got I've got other ways to look at that stuff. um, I don't need to pause the movie, but like that whole sequence where he's jealous, it definitely paints her, in my view, as much more of a mastermind than
Mm-hmm.
someone who was turned during her captivity. Like I
Yeah.
think they were in on it together. But there's wiggle room to see it however you choose. Like I think if you I don't know, maybe a therapist could watch this and conclude that like I hate women or something.
Yeah.
I don't. Like I'm super hip and cool and a feminist ally and all that. But they'd be like, oh yeah, blame Electra, why don't you? Yeah, I know where you stand. Yep.
And I guess it also implies the way how there was a line of dialogue that she kind of broke down Bond's walls immediately, just like so maybe that's like a skill of hers in which she probably applied to Victor.
Yeah. I mean, and Bond even outright accuses her after that, saying, "You turned Renard." Like
Yeah,
he's surprised,
yeah,
at that. And whether or not he's letting his emotions get the better of him in that moment, again, is up to or if he actually believes it, or if it's actually true, is
mm-hmm.
up to the viewer. But I like, I like her as as being evil, but everyone still just can't help but like literally love her.
Yeah. And then there's a scene which kind of harkens back to GoldenEye with Famke Janssen's character, where um, Sophie straddles Bond while you know twisting the thing to choke him or break his neck, and she mentions
The
what happens when you're being choked.
Yeah,
She straddles him.
what
She's like,
happens
oh
to a man when he's strangled?
yeah. It's like, whoo.
Yeah, that whole sequence is like the sexiest scene in any Bond movie,
Yeah, I was
in
like,
my opinion. The
it's like
like the chair, it's a thing that if you twist it 5 times, it'll break your friggin' neck. I guess that part's not really that hot,
sexy.
but the
But yeah,
idea of
before
it
that,
being, yeah,
yeah, just
like the idea of it being this like torture device, and he's strapped into it,
mm-hmm.
and and she's being all femme fatale during the whole scene.
Yeah,
It's that is perfection. That's my favorite part of the whole movie and one of my favorite scenes in any Bond movie.
yeah. Just don't turn the wheel 5 times. Just turn it four, and you have a great time.
Yeah, and he's got the great line at the end of it. One last screw,
Screw, yeah.
and then Zukovsky shows up, saves the day, gets shot,
Yeah,
which is kind of an underwhelming end to his character.
yeah, it's Robbie Coltrane is back from his character Goldeneye. It was Goldeneye, right? Yeah. Um, and I mean, sure, but he gets to kind of be the one to rescue Bond, so
Yeah,
I
that
guess
is a fun
yeah,
when he shoots the arm strap and kind of gives him a smile, and Bond gives the closest he can to a smile back.
yeah.
You know, with an inch away from getting his neck snapped. And he's
Mhm.
able to
Mhm.
escape, and it's a nice thing. Apparently, there's a deleted scene, or at least a written scene, that confirmed that he survived, but
Oh, okay.
they figured we probably won't be using him again, so let him die.
uh, yeah, he wasn't unfortunately able to die another day. Anyway,
Ew.
uh,
And if they did decide to bring him back, they could just be like, "Hey, it turned out I survived! Yay!" That was my
uh,
Russian accent.
yeah, yeah.
It was
Oh,
fantastic.
going back to Robert Carlyle, this was the first film I saw him in. And then later on, he was in a bunch of other stuff. Most notably, for me anyway, Once Upon a Time, the TV series, he played Rumpelstiltskin. He was a very memorable character in that TV show. I loved it. So yeah, this was like one of his earlier roles. So he looked pretty young. Not one of those menacing bad guys. And they mentioned something about his character, but which never really. I don't think it really showed up in the movie. They're saying, well, first of all, they say he doesn't feel, which does show up in the movie that he can't feel anything, and it's
Like
it,
he
it
wouldn't be able to walk
right.
in real life if he couldn't feel anything. But but that doesn't bother me at all because it's a
Yeah,
Bond villain thing.
and then
So
it's
like,
the Bond villain thing having sort of this weird quirk about a Bond villain. Like, you had the tears, the blood tears for Casino Royale. You had wait, what
yeah,
is it?
blood tears is nothing. We're talking like Jaws.
Yeah,
Talking
right.
like Odd Job, a mute guy who
Yeah.
throws a hat.
So this was his, I guess, his quirk. He has no feeling, um, and but they also said, okay, he'll die eventually, but he'll get stronger as he approaches his death because he can't feel. But that never really showed up in the movie at all. Like, I don't. There wasn't a scene that particularly showed his strength. I mean, he was going toe to toe with Bond, but just he's a Russian agent, so I'm sure he was already highly skilled in combat prior to being shot in the fucking head. So I don't know if they really
Yeah,
showed it.
he's not that intimidating of a villain, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like his performance,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I like their fights are kind of not much of anything.
Yeah.
Um, but and again, like I like his performance, and I see him as wounded. I mean, he is literally wounded. He's got a bullet hole in his head, which is a fun visual. Like fun to
Yeah.
walk around with a bullet hole in your head. Um, I mean, it's probably not actually fun, but it's a fun visual for the viewer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the way he's such a puppy dog for Elektra, and is so protective of her, um, like I think that's very compelling just to watch. So I do think that Robert Carlyle makes the most of
Hmm.
the limited opportunities that he has because his character, depending on how you choose to view it, is basically just the henchman.
Yep. Yep. And
Um,
like, because for the most part, especially when you find out how much involved Elektra really is into the plot, to destroy the pipeline, all the pipeline, so she could be the only oil pipeline to have produce to, I guess, transfer oil to to sell. Um, is that, like, all of it is involved with her, and even she even had henchmen before it was revealed that she was a bad guy, right? Like, but you knew them as bodyguards, but once she made the turn, they they became henchmen pretty much. Um,
yeah,
so it just felt like she would have been the bad guy, but it's almost like, oh no, we have this guy, so let's just make him be the final boss. But really, it probably should have been Elektra as the final person to defeat. And now it makes me think, with Christopher Nolan's obsession with Bond, could this be the dynamic that he kind of took from and transplanted it to Talia and Bane for Dark Knight Rises? Because it's essentially the same thing, right? It turned out it was Talia's
yeah,
plan all along, but this time Talia dies after to Bane, so maybe that was Christopher Nolan making the corrections. Like, no, Elektra should have been the final kill, so I'm gonna make Talia the final kill in my movie.
yeah. It's a tricky thing. Do you want to end the movie on the big action set piece, or do you want to end the movie on the big emotional climax?
Yeah,
And I think the big emotional climax is such a downer
yeah,
that that we're still in a Bond formula era.
yeah, and
That
especially
if
if
they
you
ended
wanted,
with that,
yeah, especially if you wanted to kind of go from that ending to him boning Christmas, it would have been like, damn, bro, you just
exactly,
murdered, you just murdered your
like
old chick. Eh?
bang, I never miss. Hey, Christmas, want to come twice?
Oh my god.
Oh gosh, I apologize. I apologize for that.
You know what? Because I knew there was like a Christmas joke in there, but I always thought before I saw it again that he said, "I didn't know Christmas comes in July." I thought that was the joke. Maybe that was like a another movie that used that joke, but I guess the Christmas. You, I guess I got you wrong. I guess Christmas comes more than twice a year. I guess was the joke.
I thought Christmas only came once a year.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the joke. But yeah, it was a cool little action sequence in the submarine, but not considering that there was this movie had huge set pieces prior to that it just the submarine sequence pales in comparison to previous action sequences in that same movie, and then
I
comparing
mean,
it to
I think the action in this movie is kind of a step down from the previous movies in general.
right. I mean the boat
Like
sequences, I guess the boat sequence and the I want to say the helicopter with the fucking saws is probably the standout.
yeah, the helicopters with the saws is the standout for sure, and
Yeah.
the boat scene is good. Like I mean, I don't think any of the action is bad. Like the skiing is
Yeah.
cool,
Mhm.
um, but I think compared to Tomorrow Never Dies and Goldeneye, especially Tomorrow Never Dies, I just
Yeah,
think that
yeah,
it's a little bit lacking, and I think the movie suffers from the PG-13 syndrome
yeah.
of you can clearly tell that they shot the movie and then were asked to trim frames because there
Yep.
is a lot. Like almost every single time someone gets shot in this movie, it does the classic PG-13 thing
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
showing the person shoot and then cutting to the victim like 2 frames after they get hit.
Mhm.
So you see him fall down, but you don't see the actual impact, even though when you're watching it that way, you can clearly tell that they shot it to be, to have those few extra frames before the cut.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
and I could tell there was a scene, the scene where he also in the submarine where he opens the door for Christmas, and he had the guy in a chokehold. Right after he was supposed, he breaks his neck, but they don't have the neck crick. You see him make the motion to like twist his neck. So I have a feeling that the crick was in, and it was like, oh, bro, that's brutal. That's an R rating right there. So they just kind of like muted it.
Yeah. You'd think they would have learned their lesson. That's funny. I didn't actually notice that. I thought he was just kind of holding him.
Nah, you
Um,
see him do like a little like he moved his arm like the like cricket.
oh,
Yeah,
interesting. Okay,
yeah,
because they do the exact same thing in Casino Royale, where there's a visible neck snap but no audible neck
yeah,
snap,
yeah,
and it's just like that's. I mean, neck snaps in movies in general are kind of my pet peeve.
yeah.
I never believe them. Like unless you're like the size of like The Rock or Batista or John Cena,
Yeah.
like I never believe that like some guy can break someone's neck by gently touching them on the chin and forehead. You know.
Mm-hmm. Um. So yeah. And what else? I think we talked mainly about the characters. Um. I guess we could talk. We can move on to the music. Oh no no no! The car. Now this is the fucking Bond car that I was like, because it almost looked like the one in Golden Eye, and then they kind of went to like a standard looking boxy looking car, and Tomorrow Never Dies, and now they were I don't know if people complain, it's like, what the hell, man, you had a dope looking car in fucking Golden Eye and went to this shit, so they course corrected back, and the the BMW for this one looked fucking incredible, and it had cool gadgets as well. So I liked it. I
Yeah,
liked the
blows
the
steer missiles or whatever kind of missiles.
yeah.
Um, and an auto drive function, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like the next evolution of the the driving in Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yep.
Um, but it doesn't really get to do that much because then it gets blown up,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
not
Or
blown up, ripped in
sawed.
half.
Yeah, sawed in half. But I guess uh, maybe because I'm looking. What was the budget? Because the budget for this one was 135 million. Made his money back though, 361 worldwide. But Tomorrow Never Dies. How much did that one make? Or how much did that one cost to make? Because you're right in that it wasn't a lot of set pieces in this movie compared to Tomorrow Never Dies. Tomorrow Never Dies cost 110, which was cheaper. Which is, I guess, inflation causes the caused the price rise, or maybe it's
I mean,
Bond.
when it comes to that, there's a lot of factors that go into what was the action, that as much of a focus, different second unit director.
Mm-hmm.
Vic Armstrong was second unit on this, and he was a stunt man, and I think he's good. Like again, like I think the action is fine
Yeah,
for the most part. But I can't remember off the top of my head who did it in Tomorrow Never Dies. But it's just like a different style. I think it's a little weaker. It pulls its punches a little more.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and it doesn't go for broke the way the previous movies did because it didn't need to. It was not on life support. It wasn't make or break.
mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, the world is not enough was guaranteed to make $350 million
True,
in
true.
1999.
Yeah,
So they kind of didn't have to. The Matrix wasn't out yet. Like it didn't change the rules. Uh, and so Bond, we always talk about how Bond has to adapt to whatever's going on,
yeah, yeah,
and because there was only 2 years between Tomorrow Never Dies and The World's Not Enough, it was able to just kind of be on autopilot in terms of like the production,
yeah,
stunts, and action sequences, and we see that by the nature of the helicopters with the blades on them, which is a real thing actually.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That they cut trees. They use it to cut trees, which they showed in the
yeah,
movie, right? Yeah.
yeah. But though, like that premise for a chase scene was repurposed from Goldeneye. Like they
Ah.
devised that for Goldeneye, didn't use it, and they were like, "Well, we're gonna have some action in the new one. Go back to the files, dig up what we didn't use before,
Yeah,
as opposed to, what are the other kids doing?"
yeah. um. So yeah. So that's all the plot stuff and the actors and action sequences. Now we can move on to the music. David Arnold is back as the composer,
Oh
um,
yeah,
and he, because you mentioned in Tomorrow Never Dies, he was part of the original song, but the song got put to the end. Now the song he helped craft the song for this one, and it got put in the beginning, and it shows. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh yeah, this was, his score even before you heard the song was reflecting some of the musical cues that would you would later hear in the song. So it's from Garbage, The World Is Not Enough, the title track, uh, which you could, I would say again, it could be biased because it's my first movie in the theater, but it's probably my favorite Bond song of all time.
yeah,
Um,
very good. I
yeah,
like it. I like it. I don't think it's like my favorite of any of them. I mean, we already talked about my favorite last week.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think it's good. I like the whole music video sequence. The oil,
yeah, yeah, and
and
it's
I don't know what that's called in real life, but like the colors like that rainbow pattern that
kaleidoscope.
happens.
Is it like a kaleidoscope? Oh no, no, you mean the
No,
rainbow
like
pattern?
like
Yeah, the rainbow pattern that's in the oil.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know what that is or what it's called. I don't know anything
yeah,
about anything, but I think it looks cool and it makes for a great visual for Bond silhouettes to dance around.
yeah. And as I suspected, they kind of um, put the taming. of what you could see in the girls in the opening sequence. You know, as
Yeah.
as it started to reflect the times now, it's like a lot of people are more aware of what can be done in a PG-13 movie. Because that scene with, as I said, with if you pause it at the right time with Sophie Marceau, I'm sure they probably missed that because it's like a super, 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 super quick scene, and you have to pause it at the right time to actually see anything. Um, so yeah, they had to maintain their PG-13. So gone. We're officially into the days of the opening sequence being tame in comparison to previous Bond movies. Like I said, I think GoldenEye was the last one to really see some nipples in the opening sequence. Um, yeah, so I love the song, love the opening sequence. David Arnold, still bringing back the sort of industrial, you know, techno esque, um, but with your traditional strings. Um,
Yeah, he definitely leans a little bit more into his electronic
yeah,
style in this one, um, but not to any degree that upsets me. I'm still in,
yeah, 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 yeah,
and I love the his version of the Bond theme that plays over the end credits.
yep, yep.
I think it's the perfect version of that for that time period,
Hmm.
and it's very much like just why I like him so much as a composer.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, he did a great job, and he would move on to do I think two more Bond movies after this. Two more maybe.
No, he would go all the way through Quantum of Solace.
Okay, yeah, because I know he didn't come back because it was Skyfall was somebody else, and I know Hans Zimmer
Yeah,
did. Uh,
Skyfall was Sam Mendes' guy,
yes, yes.
and then it was Hans Zimmer for the last one.
Yeah. Right.
Forgotten
So
forgotten David Arnold.
yeah. So
Maybe he'll be back. Who knows?
oh, yeah, yeah. I was kind of hoping that like it would be a thing where uh Martin Campbell will come and like be the one to restart Bond again, so it'll be his third time rebooting it because he did
Third time. I
GoldenEye.
don't know.
It,
I think two reboots was enough for him.
so I mean, I thought it would have been a tradition. It's like, okay, what do you got for us, Martin? You know what I mean? Like set the tone for the next Bond films for the next 10 years or wherever,
Right.
however long.
Hey, I'm sure they had a meeting.
Yeah, and he was like, "Listen, guys, I'm old as fuck. You know, I'm coming off of some deeply flopped movies here. I'm dead. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
dead."
he's at a different phase in his career. I don't think he wants to do. Or maybe he does. We'll see what he's got cooked up. But the movies that he's made lately have been slightly smaller.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
Still big, exciting action movies, but not like to that scale.
Yeah. Oh, I can't end this podcast without mentioning one of the coolest scenes. I mean, it doesn't make a lick of sense now, but when he puts his X-ray glasses on and started to see a lot of these ladies, but they're armed to the teeth. Teeth.
Yeah,
It's like
that
holy
was funny.
shit. But it's like,
Yeah, good gadgets in general.
okay, you're telling me your X-ray glasses can't go past the bra and panties? Like, really?
Different settings.
Well, I guess he could adjust it, right?
Yeah, because
Uh,
if he goes too far, then he's gonna radiation poison
yeah,
everyone in the room.
give him cancer.
And he's like, well, what do I want to see? Do I want to see their bones? Like, no, I mean just the top layer.
um, I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
Army Hammer. If Army Hammer was Bond, then yeah, of course he wants to see the meat.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, so that was a little quick aside. I just wanted to mention that. Um, great Bond movie.
Yeah, fun,
Third.
great Bond, and another fun gadget. It's I can see some people having a problem with it because it's something that is less plausible than what it's replacing. but in Goldeneye he had the rope attached to his belt,
All right, yeah, 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 yeah.
and
And
here he has the grappling hook rope attached to his watch,
watch, yeah.
and it's like, how much stuff can you fit in that watch? How thin is that string? Is that rope that he can still carry himself? So like I don't mind at all. I think it's totally fine. Um,
Movie magic.
but yeah, yeah, it's movie magic. But you can see where they go. Well, the belt was slightly more plausible that you
Hmm.
could fit a bunch of rope in your belt.
Yeah,
But it looks cooler if we do it from the watch. So let's just do that.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty cool movie. My first, so again, holds a special place in my heart. And then now next week we'll be tackling, oh boy, Die Another Day. I'm curious to see how I like or dislike that movie. I know for sure I love the opening of that movie. That it goes into the opening credits with the torture. You know, we'll talk more about it, but that I fucking love. That shit was crazy for me. It was like, holy shit, they're gonna do it like this? Nice. Um,
Yeah. Well, the last thing to talk about is we glossed over it a little bit. What do you think of Bond shooting Elektra in cold blood?
um, I liked it. I mean, it's like, I guess you could say it swerved. You know, it's one of those what do you call it, expectations, subverted expectations. You know,
Yeah,
a bit.
because she was not a threat at that point.
No, but
He
it's
did
funny
not
though.
have to shoot her.
He ran all the way up. So you're thinking she's running, she's trying to find a way to escape, but she just is like waiting for him at the top. It was like, okay, I guess she's confident that he wasn't going to do anything. Um,
He has a power over men.
yeah. So, uh, yeah, it was a, and that, okay. So that would have, if that was the final fight, so to speak, I guess would have been somewhat anticlimactic, but more, I guess, emotional, because he just like really pops her. Um, I mean, you could say, you could tell he hesitated too. It's like, damn man, another good one. Whew, what a waste. Wait, did he have a line after when he popped her? Did he say something?
Yeah, it's like the best freaking line in Bond. You can't kill me, or you can't shoot me. You'd miss me.
Oh, I
Bang!
never miss.
I never
Never
miss.
miss. Yeah.
Um, it's a rageful moment. Like that is you know Bond's dark side because you know he even talks earlier how he doesn't like killing unarmed men, but that he'll make an exception for Renard.
Yeah.
And she is unarmed in that sequence. She has a walkie-talkie,
Yeah.
and he shoots her in cold blood.
And you know what though? Why? Because then, why do you? What? He didn't have to kill her. Just
No,
fucking arrest her.
but she broke his heart.
So that was like a vengeance killing.
Yeah,
Damn.
that is it's one of his coldest kills.
Yeah.
Probably his coldest kill because
Like,
she was not a threat to him in any way anymore.
I don't know what the
Like,
rules are for MI6, but I'm wondering if that would have been a means to revoke his license.
I mean, it could have been, but M was there. M saw it. M saw him do it.
Maybe she was.
And I wish that there was a scene where they talked before he jumped off the balcony into the water
Yeah.
to chase after the sub, because she saw him do it. I'm sure that there's a scene. I'm sure that they shot something
Right.
where she was like, "Hey, why'd you do that?" And he's like, "It was personal or something."
If it
Something
was,
better than that. But
I'm, I, I'm sure if it was any other double O that did it, she would have like, oh, you motherfucker, get out of here, or give me a license or some shit like that. But I think she just has a soft spot for Bond, man. She's just like, she'll let this guy get away with anything.
Yeah, or at least for Pierce's version,
Yeah, yeah.
as opposed to Moneypenny, take the shot,
Yeah,
shoot him.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
care, just fucking shoot him.
yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, so that's Bond. So next week, okay, I want to say this too. I have a Mandela effect about one of a Pierce Brosnan Bond movie. Like I could have
Okay,
sworn that in one of the Bond films he visits the gravesite of his wife.
that was Roger Moore.
That's the thing. Like for some reason in my head, there was a Pierce Brosnan movie that does that, but like Mandela effect. So I was like, was it World Is Not Enough? And then when I didn't see that sequence, I know it's not Die Another Day. So I was like, holy shit! I guess I'm mistaken. Fuck.
No, the closest is yeah, the closest they get to acknowledging his marriage is in this one,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that's just yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Now the only time we ever see her grave is in For Your Eyes Only.
right, right. All right. So, like I said, next week is Die Another Day. It's regarded as the film that ended his stint as Bond. I don't know. I'm sure I'll
I
read
mean,
up
it
more
is
about it.
literally the film that ended his stint as Bond
Yeah. So it's
because it is his last Bond.
yeah, and
But we'll see. We'll see. You know, we'll see. And there's also a degree of not Hollywood politics, but whatever British Hollywood is called,
mm-hmm.
British Hollywood politics to
So
it. But
there's a lot of
we'll get there.
controversy surrounding that movie, both plot wise or even music. The Madonna song. So we'll talk more about it next week once we get there. Um, so Zach, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at my name, Zach Wojnar, and you can read my work at Game Daily and TV Squad and Jalopnik if you like cars, and even at Final Fantasy Union on YouTube.
Nice. I used to watch Final Fantasy Union a lot as a kid. I mean, not as a kid. I mean, what did I say? A lot, like a few years ago. Like, I was like, and then when I saw that you were working with them, I was like, holy shit! I thought it was like just one
It's
dude that was doing a whole thing. I
it's
didn't know
really
he had a
fun. No, he,
staff.
he narrates all the videos. He
Yeah,
narrates them all. He's a great dude, Daryl.
yeah,
Works very closely with everyone. Um, really smart. Knows he could do the whole thing by himself. He's such a Final Fantasy uh, encyclopedia.
yeah.
But actually, most of my stuff right now, I have a few videos on Final Fantasy Union, but most of them are on the sister YouTube site, Kingdom Hearts Union. So if
Uh,
you see any new Kingdom Hearts Union videos, I probably wrote them.
yeah. So I guess he's doing the whole thing that oh my god, I forgot his name. Game trailers, dude. He used to run game trailers. He did all the voices, but he had a staff of writers. So I guess it's
Yeah, yeah,
roughly the same
Brandon
thing.
Jones,
Brandon
who
Jones,
then went
yes.
on to found Easy Allies.
Yep. Um. Yeah. All right. So that's where people can find you. For me, you can find me at Mark Obridge on Instagram and TikTok. You can find my other works, a link down below. My short films. I have a show on Tubi, and I have a comic book called Mana Kingdoms. Issue 2 will be out as of, well, by the time this drops on YouTube. Issue 2, cross fingers, should be out by that time. Set for November 5th, so this will be posted after that. Yeah, so check it out. Mana Kingdoms 1 and 2. It's going to be one of those things that's my life's work, kind of like how Lord of the Rings was J.R. Tolkien's life's work. By the way, we share a birthday, January 3rd. Um,
Oh,
and George R. R. Martin I guess Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire, which is its appropriate title. That's his life's work, even though he's not done with his. I just hope I'm more of a Tolkien and not a Martin when it comes to completing the story.
Uh,
um, so yeah, that's check those out. Issue 1 and 2. Links will be in the description. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that little bell icon to get updates to when I drop new videos. All right, so until next time, folks, I want to say peace.
Indeed.